Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to you all, from those down the road to the folks around the world. Welcome to another isolation special, where this time I will be getting hands-on with arts and crafts. I will be using my hands to create this hand. And these are my parents. Their hands are bigger than mine. So a lot of people in isolation, self-isolation, self-distancing, or social distancing, sorry, and lockdown, we've all been trying new things. We've all been either reading more, catching up with things on TV, maybe getting fit and healthy, maybe, I don't know. We've all been doing different things. And it's all very commendable, and it's one of the most creative periods of time, apparently, since the end of the Second World War. So my parents, they're into sort of arts and crafts. They do a lot of woodwork, they do a lot of resin work, and they like making things. They also watch a lot of YouTubers who are arts and crafts makers, which is where these are inspired from. These are inspired by a YouTuber called Nick Zammeti, who, on one of his videos recently, you can search this in the search bar. I might leave a link below, depending on how I feel about it. But if I don't link it below, if you search into the top bar, Nick Zametti woodworking, he made a plaster card or plaster of Paris model of his fist, and he showed you the process. He's very funny. He's fairly entertaining. So my parents and I decided that we would recreate this in our own unique ways, and this video will be that story. So without further ado, I will give you the highs, the lows, the poor quality, and the issues that I have with my broken fingers. Here we go. So step one of this process is the alginate. Now it comes in a sort of powdered form, and the stuff that we got came in a 500-gram packet. We got 2 of them, so we had about 1 kilo of it. You add about 1 liter of water to each pack, and it creates this sort of stodgy mess, sort of this very gloopy consistency. You need a big enough utensil to create the mold, otherwise the plaster, when you put the plaster in, the plaster will just leak out and you won't get that natural definition that you will see. You obviously put the stuff in. You put your hand into the big utensil, and you set it for about 5 minutes. You will see this process in the next clip, but I'm sort of having to explain it in more detail because the clip I'm about to show you is mostly of my legs. I was trying to set up the camera and it didn't quite work out. So you do see what I'm doing, and you do see the pouring and me putting my hand in, but it's not a great video, but I still wanted to show it anyway because it's an important sort of step in the process. So here is that clip. Step number 2 is basically, leaving the mold to set. You've taken out your hand, which, because of the suction in the air, it's rather it's rather painful at times. It's because your hand is so molded tightly in there. It's rather difficult sometimes to pull it out. Obviously, you leave that to dry for a good half an hour to an hour or so. We left it there for a little bit longer, just in case. This was the first time that we did it, so might as well. And then obviously you mix up the plaster of Paris, which you can get in great quantities for not a lot of money. We didn't really need that much. We needed about 1 kilo of it. We brought a massive 5 kilo box of plaster of Paris powder, and we only needed about 1 kilo of it. We mixed it with shy of 1 liter of water, and you'll see in this next clip that being done, and the plaster goes in quite well. And if you have any holes, or if you have any parts where you've touched the side of the object, or the sort of the flask that you're using, your utensil, there is a fear that the plaster will just sort of go out to that hole and then leak. Thankfully, we didn't have this issue, but here is that another 2-minute clip. And finally, the last step after you've left it to dry, we gave it a good day after we put the plaster in. It didn't need that long, apparently, according to the instructions, but we left it there for a good day just in case. Again, first time we've done it. So once we've done that, you basically then have to peel back the mold. You can't do it as one. You can't sort of split it in half and take the mold off. You do have to sort of dismantle and rip apart the mold. So it's only a sort of a one-use thing, unfortunately. But you peel that back and you get the lovely hands. One thing I will say, and I will demonstrate why, this hand right here, or this pair of hands right here, you have to make sure that obviously you want the definition of the hands, but don't have gaps like that. So if I had a gap that was like this, there would be a fear, or maybe smaller, sorry, there would be a fear that the alginate would get stuck in that hole and you will be sat there picking at this for ages. So I suppose if when you're doing it, if you decide to do it, make sure that you either have a completely sort of open hand, or open enough or closed enough in a fist or something, so that the alginate is not going to stick, or not going to sort of get into every nook and cranny. I will obviously show an example with this one, but here's the big reveal for the next like 2 minutes. So as I noted in my intro, and as you saw in the last clip, you will see that my fingers have been sadly broken off, and there have been a few issues with my mold. My parents' mold came out a lot better. There are obviously a few issues with it. There's still some alginate sort of stuck within the cast itself still, and the fingers, I think where the air has been trapped, the bottoms of the fingers haven't quite come out as well, because obviously you've got to think that these molds or these castings are upside down in the molds, in the casting, so this part was sort of higher raised than the rest of it, so that's probably why the plaster hasn't managed to catch these bottom parts of the fingers. I have similar issues, especially with like the fingers like this and the fingers on the bottoms here, but obviously I have broken fingers. I have completely broken fingers. The one finger that did come out really well was my thumb. Now you can really clearly see the definition of, there we go, my thumb. There's my fingerprint, and the back of my thumb, you can see the joint, you can see the cracks in my finger, in the joint, and my fingernail has come out really well. It's the same thumb as I'm holding it, so you can really tell that it's come out really well. Obviously there's a few air bubbles in there and a few bobbly parts, but you know, for a first attempt, that's not too bad. We're gonna try and stick these fingers back together. But yeah, no, I'm quite pleased with this first attempt. It's not too bad. There you go, with my veins. Yeah, ooh, there's a couple of scratches from when we tried to take them out, but yeah. There we go, you can see the fingers. There's my my parents' wedding ring there. It's just there. That's really sort of come out really quite well. And yeah, the definition on their fingers and the rest of it is really good. Not bad for a first attempt. So, if you've liked what you've seen in this video and you want to give this a go, I will leave links below for the Amazon retailers that are used for creating these casts, these molds. The Alginate, the Plaster of Paris, that's pretty much it. That's all you need. If you saw on my Instagram and on my Facebook, you will have seen that I put up pictures of this in my story. So please go check those out as well. I'll be doing a few live streams in the future. And in the meantime, I will be back with you next Wednesday with another video. Probably something crazy and different again. Every week is different, seemingly, these days. So yeah, without further ado, I will see you folks later. Please subscribe, like, comment, whatever. See you later.
Are you filming?
Trying to. That's why I put the wood out. Of course, I can't do anything with that, man.